Hi! I wanted to just say a few things before we get into this video. I've been gone for a while. I was struggling a lot with my mental health the past month, and it was really hard for me to stay motivated. I filmed this video at the beginning of July, and then after that didn't really work on anything else. And the reason I'm even bringing this up or even saying anything is because I poke fun at my own mental health in this video, and you can kind of see that I'm struggling a little bit. Look in my eye, like you can kind of see that like there are things happening up here and they're not great. I am okay now. I am doing better. I got the help that I needed. So I just wanted to like give a little PSA, I guess. If you are struggling with your mental health in any capacity, to not be afraid to ask for help. I didn't realize I was struggling as much as I did until after I finished filming this video. I'm gonna put some resources down in the description for you all. I like to be as open about it as possible just because it's something that should be normalized and talked about. You are not alone in this. Don't ever be scared to ask for help. It's hard, and asking for help does not make you less of a person. That's pretty much it. On with the video. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome in, welcome back. My name is Brooke, aka Brooks Moon, and I hope you're doing okay. You clicked on this video, you know what's about to happen. Yeah, the title of this video is correct. I am going to be attempting to read the longest book that I own in 24 hours. And it just so happens that the longest book that I own is It by Stephen King. Why am I doing this, you may ask? Well, my depression decided it was going to promote itself from seasonal employee to full-time. So I've been in a slump recently, and I know that what gets me out of a slump a lot of the time is trying to do something that I find incredibly challenging. It tests my limits, it makes me want to achieve more, and so I'm hoping that by doing this I can like trick myself into realizing that like I can do the things that I've set myself out to do. It seems really silly, but it's just a way for me to do this. I had this idea to do this since I did my 12-hour reading vlog a few months ago, and I had a lot of fun making that video, I had a lot of fun editing it, and so I was like, you know, it would be even more fun if I try to read like a really big book in 24 hours. And I've seen a few other creators try to do this. However, I don't think anyone has succeeded. So I wanted to see if I would be able to actually succeed. The process of me planning to do this video, I realized that it is mostly achievable for me. I read about 50 pages an hour, and when you do the math with how many pages are in it in total divided by 24 hours, you get about 48 pages per hour. So that to me is very doable at the moment. I'm ahead and I like sectioned off my book every 48 pages or so. Some of them is not 48 pages exactly, some of them is a little bit more, because I wanted it to end in like an even break with chapters. It's just for me to keep track and make sure that I'm on track and that I'm not off track as the timer starts going. I do have the next 2 days off of work, and I am hoping that this is going to end around 10 p.m. tomorrow. It is currently 12 p.m. today. 24 hours from now is 12 p.m. tomorrow. But I am not going the full 24 hours without sleeping. I am pausing the timer to allow myself to sleep because I know that if I don't do that, I might actually go insane. And that's not what I'm trying to do. At least not for this video. Maybe a different video, I entirely lose my mind, but this is not the one that I want to do that in. So I am allowing myself to sleep. However, like, eating, things like that, I'm not going to be pausing the timer, which I think is where my challenge is going to take place. Because I need to be able to multitask, which I pride myself on, so I feel like I'm going to be able to do it, but we'll see what happens. I do want to give a disclaimer before I even get into this. I love the characters that are in this book. I was knee-deep in 2017 in the It and Stranger Things crossover fandom. I was in the trenches, okay? The Losers Club has been something that has been a hyperfixation for me since 2017 and is something that I hold near and dear to my heart. I adopted half of my personality from Richie Tozier when I was 16 years old, so take with that what you will. I have all of the Funkos. I have a thing on my wall that says the losers, like the loser lover thing from the movie. It 2017, directed by Andy Muschietti, is one of my Letterboxd 4. This is just a story and characters that I hold near and dear to my heart. However, I am fully aware of the fact of how Stephen King has written books in the past and continues to write books. Why this white man thinks that he can continue to write the N-word in his books, even if though they're coming from black characters. It doesn't matter. You're still a white man. It doesn't matter. I'm not trying to excuse any of the criticism that he has received from BIPOC readers and other BIPOC authors. He's a very confusing dude. He is one of the very few authors who like has fist fought Joanne on Twitter in regards to trans rights. So it's just him as a person, I am not the biggest fan of. There are stories that he has written that I adore, but like The Marauders and like a few other books, my love for these characters exists outside of his text. I have read a bunch of fan fiction when I was younger. I was in the fandom where people were taking these characters and not recharacterizing, but seeing them in their own light. So things like Reddy and things like Richie and Eddie being trans and all of that stuff is things that I feel like fans did to make themselves feel more seen within this writing. To which I hold near and dear to my heart. So I just wanted to say that because there is a lot of homophobia and racism and misogyny in his books, and I just wanted to be clear that I am not promoting that. This to me is more of a challenge for myself than it is me praising Stephen King. I do like his writing a lot of the time. However, I do understand that there are a lot of issues with his books and his writing. So it's kind of hard for me to like really see, to like consciously do this without saying anything. So I just wanted to make that abundantly clear. I have read this book before. Like I said, I was part of the fandom in 2017. However, the last time I read it, it took me a year to read. I was reading it while I was in high school. It was over the course of a year while I was not only just in high school, but extracurriculars and working a job, and you know, it took me a long time to finish this book because it's a brick. This thing is huge. It's not his longest one either, which is insane. It's a big book. It is the biggest book that I own that is by itself. So I wanted to make a challenge of this. Every summer I rewatch it. I've seen this movie so many times I probably quote it from front to back and to beginning to end, backwards, forwards, what have you. I love the movie. I love the characters, how they are characterized, how they were directed by Andy. Andy did an amazing job directing these two movies that came out when they did. And it just, I don't know, it breathed new life into these characters and into the story. I'm a big horror fan. I always have been. I always will be, probably. And it is one of those that is one of my favorite horror movies and stories, because it's more than just about a killer clown who eats children. There's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of themes in this book that I really like, and in these stories and in these characters. And so I was like, you know what, I haven't read it since I finished it in 2018, and this would be a fun way to revisit it because it would be a challenge, and also it makes for good content because you're gonna watch me go crazy. I'm excited to start this. I am going to charge my camera for a little bit, but I am gonna start the timer. We'll see where this journey takes me. I'm a little scared, I'm not gonna lie. There's no 24-hour option, so, you know, we're just doing this, so here we go. This is fucking heavy. I remember why I hated reading this book is because it's annoying to hold. Like, what am I supposed to do here? Okay, anyway. So I'm checking in for a little bit. 3 hours has passed so far, so I have like 21 hours left. I'm on page 127. I've collected almost 3 little tabs. This is my little collection sheet. And also my bookmark. This is my reward system. A little bit behind already. He rambles so much in this book. That's part of the reason why it's so fucking long, is because he just talks and like writes like kind of like stream of consciousness for these characters. I'm like trying to remind myself that this was written a very long time ago. It was published in 1986, so like times were very different in the way that women are viewed, that gay people are viewed, that people of color are viewed, and like There's also a lot of anti-Semitism in this, and it's just like not it did not hold up against the writing of those things. Just didn't. It's not good, and it's so questionable. Which is why I think like the revisit of these characters in the films was so necessary. I don't know. I still very much care about these characters and like them, but again, like I said, it's like outside of this book and King's writing. So I'm gonna get back to it because I've wasted time yapping. Also, I'm not reading the scene at the end. If you're a fan of it or you know anything about this book, you know what I'm talking about. We're ignoring it. I'm skipping over it, so technically I'm not reading every single page, but I'm not reading it because for my own like mental sanity. I didn't read it the first time I read the book. I'm not reading it now. I refuse. I like to pretend they're not there. So, you know. Okay, we're gonna go back to reading now. Hi, so I'm checking in. I have 5 little tabs on here. I'm about an hour behind. I don't know if I like slowed down my reading. I don't know if it's just because I was making food. I'm not really sure what happened. But I'm like an hour or so behind on like my pacing that I wanted to do. Currently on page 259, which is according to Goodreads. I'm gonna tell you how many times I say according to Goodreads on this channel because it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. It's actually kind of funny. I live and breathe through this app. It's insane. It's 22% of the way through. It's been almost 7 hours, which is like not a lot of time. I'm honestly exhausted. I barely slept last night. I went to bed really late and then I had to take my sister to the airport super early this morning. So like I am, you know, struggling a little bit. I'm drinking iced coffee at the moment that is from my house. I might make another pot of coffee because we have it. So like it's just like it exists. But I'm going to order dinner for myself so I don't have to cook anything. Mainly because I just don't want to, and also I'm trying to save time. But like me browsing DoorDash is like taking time. So they're talking about Eddie Corcoran dying. We've gotten through articles and stuff that are like in this, which makes reading like a lot faster. So like when it's like stuff like this, it's like an article that's like I think compiled by Mike in this, because Mike is the narrator. We're gonna continue to go through. I keep checking in and not like filming myself reading because I don't know what to do with the footage when I edit, so maybe we'll get some more check-ins later and maybe some more of me reading, hopefully not at my desk. I feel like I'm going crazy. Also, why does he keep reusing names? The name Eddie and Richie has come up twice. But they're different fucking people than Eddie Kaspbrak and Richie Tozier. I get it that they're common names, like Edward and Richard are very common names. But why is everyone and their mother in Derry, Maine named Edward and Richard? I'm like losing my fucking mind, bro. Also, so on brand for me. I've had that for like 3 years. But here we are. The sentence, something was following him, is so fucking scary for no reason. Zero. Also, I don't know if I said this, but I'm home by myself. By the time this goes up, I won't be, but like, as of me filming this, I am home alone until Saturday. It's currently Thursday. So like, there is a good chance I might actually go insane. We'll see. This is probably not a good idea, but it's alright. My alarm system is on. The doors are locked. I have a dog. Like, we're good. Like, it's okay. So I've kind of caught up a little bit, I think. Right now is Richie's point of view for the beginning part and part 2. I did make more coffee. I do have an It mug, so I figured this was the best time to break this out. It's currently 9:41. I have 14 hours and 20 minutes left. I'm trying to go until like maybe 1 or 2 and then going to sleep and then resuming tomorrow. So I'm gonna read as much as I can. Until then, I'm currently on page 345. I look exhausted. It's because I feel exhausted. I just keep drinking coffee, which is probably not the best idea, but I'm like reading a lot faster. We've been going for almost 10 hours, which is a long time. I don't know if I'm caught up or not. I have to like look at count my things. The filming has been taking time away from me reading, so I'm like trying my best to like balance the two and like check in as much as possible. A little bit because I just started like reading really fast because I got a second wind for my second cup of coffee and I'm now on my third. So we'll see how much caffeine is gonna help me within the last little bit. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm getting exhausted, so maybe I won't go until like 2, maybe I'll just go until like maybe 1 and go to bed. And I'm gonna read until then. I'm probably gonna put on some like happy music because we're getting to parts of the book that make me vaguely like extremely uncomfortable. The scene where Richie and Bill see themselves in the photographs freaks me out more than like the mummy or the leper or like anything else that they've seen. Other than the giant bird that Mike sees. The giant fucking bird is terrifying. I hate birds. Like, imagine being chased by a giant bird. Fuck that. Absolutely not. I would have shit my pants. Mike is braver than me. These 11-year-olds, braver than I am. So, I'm gonna check in maybe like an hour or so and see where I'm at. But I'm gonna drink this coffee and I'm gonna read, and I'm in Richie's point of view, and he's my favorite. So we'll probably breeze through this. I feel like I'm going crazy, like a little bit. I'm on page 442. I've ever read this many pages in a day before. Even when I did my 12-hour vlog, I don't think I read this many pages. I think it was like maybe 300-ish pages. I didn't read this much. Brain is like detaching from reality. But this reality is terrifying because it's a horror book and it's like disturbing. And like I can feel like the tension and the anxiety like rising at the base of my spine. And I've read this before and it's like one of my favorite movies, and yet I'm still like terrified. It's so weird. I don't like this feeling. Home Alone also is not helping because every sound that I hear I'm like, oh, I have no idea how the fuck I'm going to sleep tonight, but we'll see.
Ooh, wow, reading clips because I don't know what happened to the sound on these clips, but don't worry about it.
Every time Stephen King uses the N-word, a fairy dies. That's how I feel about this. It makes me so mad. I understand this was written in the 80s and like white people thought they could do anything. I read If It Bleeds and that came out like 2 years ago and it's still in there. And I'm like, post 2020, you're really going to do that? That's a choice. It's a really fucking stupid choice, but it is a choice that you're making. It's on this one page 5 times. It's so much easier to not use it. Like, you could just not. Like, I don't know, like reprint it maybe without it in there, because it doesn't add anything other than like showing your racism. But okay, I'm exhausted. Why? We have made it to the 12-hour mark, which means I'm halfway through. I'm on page 457. I am gonna meet my next checkpoint, which is 481, which is part 3, so them as grown-ups, which is when they all reunite in Derry. And then I'm gonna go to bed. I'm very tired. It's currently 12:04. I'm still a little bit ways behind. I'll do another like little check-in before I go to bed. I managed to catch up. Third cup of coffee didn't really do anything, so I'm just like reading at my normal speed. But I am still technically behind in terms of math. So I'm hoping tomorrow I'm gonna be able to catch up a little bit. Also, like the fact that I'm not reading a good bit of pages at the end because of, you know, the scene and like push me forward. There's just so many words on like a single page. There will be times where there's just like a huge chunk of text and like my fucking brain just I can't do it, and I'm way too exhausted to like stay on top of everything. Just making it through until the next checkpoint, which is another like 30 pages or so, and then I'm going to sleep. I'm gonna pause the timer to go to bed, obviously, and then I'm gonna wake up and we're gonna start this all over again and hopefully finish this book. Maybe. We'll see. I'm going to like finish it regardless, even if it takes me a little bit more than 24 hours. My guess is like 25 and a half, because like math wise I think I'm like an hour behind. If anything, it will be 25 hours. You know, 25/8 or whatever they say. I'm gonna resume now. And then I'll check in a second. I have paused the timer. This is how far I am. This is how far I've read. This is how much I have left. I'm a little scared that I'm not gonna finish this within 24 hours, but I think we've already come to that conclusion. He like wants to be in the background of every single video. How many tabs I have collected today? They're my little reward system for myself. I have 10. I'm about like technically 2 hours behind if you're talking in terms of math. Somehow I am able to like catch up tomorrow. I don't know if I will be. 14 hours left to read, technically. I have 14 little tabs left, so I really do think it's gonna be like 25 hours of me reading 481 pages, which is putting me at 41%. This Goodreads thing is wrong because this copy is 1,153. The copy that it's tracking on Goodreads is 1,163. That's 10 more pages than this one, so probably like 43%. But I'm exhausted. It is currently 12:43 a.m. I'm really tired. I feel insane. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'm actively losing my mind, and I think it's just because I'm tired that I feel this way, but I'm also not sure. I'm gonna go watch like 2 episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine and then go to bed so I don't think that there are things in my walls trying to kill me. And then I will check in with you guys. I look insane. I will check in with you guys in the morning and we're gonna resume and we're gonna see how long it takes me to read this. I really do have things to do tomorrow and don't think that I'm going to finish this before 10 p.m. tomorrow, which was my goal. I should not have been reading this at 16 years old. It fucking ruined my brain, I think. Because the first time that I read this, I was 16. I am now 23. And it still leaves me feeling icky because of the shit that I'm reading. I will see you guys on the board day. Whew. I'm so tired. I'm like, literally, like, oh my god. This man is ruining my life. He's making my life a million times harder. And I did this to myself. I don't even know what I'm talking about. This was literally my, like, all me. Past me was like,
oh my god, it would be so funny if you tried to read it in 24 hours. That would be hilarious.
and then, like, the rational part of my brain is like,
no, why the fuck would you do that? What is wrong with you?
and then I went ahead and did it anyway. That's where we are. Anyway, okay, bye. I'll see you. Good night. I'll see you guys in the morning. For you, it'll be like 2 seconds. For me, it'll hopefully be 8 hours from now. So, good night. Good morning. A lot later than I thought it was going to be. My appointment took longer than I thought it was going to be, and I had other things I needed to get done this morning, so we're gonna resume. I'm gonna resume the timer. Right now, it's like 11 hours, 23 minutes left. We are about halfway through. We got some pages to finish. We're gonna finish this today, even if I go a little bit over time. So my goal to finish this before 10 is not going to be a reality. Is almost 1. I'm gonna be finishing around the 12:30, I think. Also, there's a point in this book that I don't really enjoy. From Beverly's point of view, it's just very vulgar. It makes me very upset. So I might be skipping it just because I don't want to read it again. I remember the first time I read it and my own father was like, "What the hell are you reading? Why do you look like that?" Because I looked disgusted. So I'm gonna go eat. And then we're gonna pick back up. I did get some sleep last night. I slept for like 9 hours, so hopefully that helps a little bit. I definitely have more sleep in my body than I did yesterday. And I'll check in with you guys as we go along, like I did yesterday. So yippee, woohoo. Okay, goodbye. Yep, at 12:21. 1, 2, 2, 1. Let's go. I'm reading outside because it's kind of nice out, and we have this like tent thing in our backyard. Oh shit. I'm sorry, but he's like one of the most like unserious villains like ever, and it's so funny because like I giggle because like I'm like the demon clown like terrorite, like I would laugh at him because I would just find him so absurd. Maybe that's just because like Gen Z's humor is like incredibly broken, but like there are things he could do that would freak me the fuck out. Him like leaving balloons that say, "Have a good day, tonight you die." That's just fucking silly. Like, that's so silly. He's just a silly, goofy guy. I was a timer for like 20 minutes because I took a short nap. So I am now going to continue reading. I was reading outside, but then like it got like bugs are annoying to deal with, so I'm just staying inside. I'm now supposed to be finishing this at like 1 a.m. And when I tell you my anxiety levels are like way too high, higher than I would think, but we're getting through it. I'm in part 3 now. This looks like it's gonna like split in half. Mike's little interludes like make this a gajillion times harder because he just rambles, and I love him. But the entire like yesterday when I was reading everything about the black spot, I wanted to scream. Just because it's like constant talking and like big blocks of text. Like my brain can't do that. My nap kind of made me a little jittery. You know when like naps do that, like you wake up and you're like, you feel like you just like drank like 18 cups of coffee. That's how I feel right now. Try to get this done. We're trying to like power through. Filming makes this like a little harder, but I'm confident that I will be able to do it. Film brain is like losing it a little bit as I'm rereading this because of details that I know from the movies that are in this book that are coming up again that many people probably wouldn't have paid attention to. I just think it's really cool. I think it just continues to perpetuate this idea that I have, that the opinion that I hold that like Andy's probably one of the better directors when it comes from adapting stuff, because he did a great job with the 2 movies in my opinion. Yeah, things were changed obviously, but he also like changed the time period completely because he wanted the 27 years later to be taking place in modern times, which makes sense. He breathed life back into these characters in a fun way because this has been adapted before. It was adapted in the 90s. That adaptation that's still very true to the book, but the more modern, more recent one was like new level to these characters and to this story, which I thought was really cool. So a little tidbit I wanted to like mention just because I thought it was cool that I even picked up on that. So I have like 9 sections left and about 8 hours, so we're chugging along, we're chugging through, we're getting through it. We're ending around like 1 a.m. and it's gonna be an interesting rest of the day, let me tell you. I am in the weeds right now. 3.5 hours left. They're in the Nebolt house. Shit is going down. I'm on page 879, which is a lot. 75% of the way through. I'm just gonna keep grinding. I'm gonna eat dinner. We're getting through it. We're doing the thing. It's 9:30. I want to explode right now. I need to stop yapping and just read. We have less than 2 hours left. I'm 83% of the way through. It's currently 11:19. There's not that much left, which is crazy. We're back at the like awkward stage of holding this fucking book, which is annoying. My cat's being a pain in my ass right now, so there's also that. I have 100 pages left, and there's 26 minutes on the timer. So we are not reading 100 pages in 26 minutes, there's no way. But I'm almost done. This is what's left. So what I'm gonna do once the timer like officially goes out, I'm just gonna like start a stopwatch and like see how long it takes me to finish it. We're coming very close to the end. A lot is happening. Eddie is still alive right now. So I might be a blubbering mess by the end of this, but it's fine. God help me. Like, this is ridiculous. Derry is dying. Remember that this book gets really confusing towards the end because of Fertile and it and all of that. Still so funny to me. The line where he's like, "You killed my brother and I'm here to kill you. You picked the wrong kid, bitch. I'm eternal. I'm the eater of worlds." Yeah, that's so? Well, you've had your last meal, sister. Like, the level of sass that Bill Denbrough possesses is literally so funny. Like, who the fuck had your last meal, sister, is crazy. Bill is straight up just like sassing the fucking hell out of it right now, and it's just like, it's so funny. I'm sorry, but there are so many lines in this where it's like Stephen King is trying to make it look scary, but like it comes out as like fucking funny. It's so good. Like, it's so funny and it makes me giggle every time. So like, it's like, it is like an idea.
Huh?
It is the embodiment of evil.
God, what the
Instead, like, okay, like we know it's like an alien from space that's also a spider, that's also a shapeshifter, but that's also the thing that is the energy that is at the Overlook Hotel in The Shining, that is the feeling of evilness, everything that is bad in the world. I know so very little, but so much at the same time. I've officially lost my mind. That's what we can settle on here, is that I have officially gone crazy. 1070 is the marking of me going fucking insane. I have 7 minutes left. Anyway, the timer went out. I started the stopwatch. We're gonna keep going. I don't have much left. I have like less than 100 pages now, so we're gonna keep going. There's a reason why I have only seen part 2 twice and part 1 multiple times, and it's because of Eddie. Oh god, I just like, we're almost done. We're almost done. No. Actually, Eddie doesn't die. Actually, that doesn't happen. Actually, it doesn't die, and him and Richie get to live their life together, and it's fine. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. We're in denial. It's not real. I'm done. And we did it in an extra hour and 16 minutes. Crazy. In 25 hours and 16 minutes, I read all of it by Stephen King. and Jesus Christ, it was a trip and a half. It's probably a solid like 4 for me out of 5, just because there's so much in here that I'm just like, now shouldn't be in here. But the story, these characters, the Losers Club, is always something that's going to be like incredibly important to me. And what this story is. It's a story about love and friendship at the end of the day that is wearing the clothes of a horror story. It's a very well told story. The ways King sets up the plot is very interesting. It has always been very unique, and I think makes it even better. And how you experience the story in the order in which you experience. Cutting from the present to the past and going back and forth and like kind of like having the match cut, but it's a book. This was a challenge to say the least. I feel like I just experienced like 18 days in one. This wasn't a straight 24 hours. I feel like if I tried to do that, I would have actually gone insane. Pausing to sleep was definitely necessary. I've read this before. The last time I read this book, it took me a year, and then I just read it in 25 hours, so that's kind of crazy. I think I could have done it in 24 hours if I didn't like eat for the entire time that I was doing it, but like having to like eat and like having human bodily functions is a thing. It wasn't like ever going to be a full 24 hours. I don't want to say wasted, but the time not reading I think really took away from the fact that this is very easily accomplishable in 24 hours. Like I said, the math checks out to where it's like 48 pages an hour, which is pretty normal for people. It probably did take 24 hours if you subtract all of the time that I spent eating and like taking a shower and like things like that. I did pause the timer before I showered yesterday just because I was going to get ready for bed anyway, but I didn't today, so this was a challenge. I had a fun time, I'm not gonna lie. Reading this home alone is probably the worst idea ever, just because every little noise at one point was literally driving me over the edge. It has a very unique way of writing that really just like sends terror completely through your body. And people were like,
How can books be scary?
because I had someone say that to me one time and they were like,
How can words on a page scare you?
you use your brain, you're reading with your brain, and you're using your brain. Do you not do that? Is that not something you experience? Because clearly you don't. Saying those words to me, like, hello, dumbest fucking thing I've ever been told in my life. But this is a classic story. I'm probably gonna rewatch the movies. All I kept thinking about was rewatching the movies again, so I might do that later this week as a silly little treat, you know? Clearly I didn't experience enough with these characters again, so might as well. I read this book when I was 16. I don't know who let me do that, but I did. Don't read this book if you're 16 years old. I don't care what anyone says. It's something that can hold off in your mental development. It's 2:30 in the morning. I have work today in like 8 hours. I have to be at work, so I'm gonna go to bed and get some well-needed sleep. Did this make the depression go away? No. But it's okay. You do what you gotta do. And I'm gonna do my outro now. I'm like telling my brain what to do because I'm so tired. But I'm also like on that like high that you get when you finish a book. I'm experiencing that to like a different degree right now because I read this in 24 hours. Like a psycho. Anyway, if you want to follow me on any of my other socials, they're in the description down below. Do something nice for yourself today. Remember you were loved, especially by me, and I will see you guys in the next one, hopefully where I'm not losing my mind. But bye!